First of all, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. My name is Tony Hakes. I'm the Director of Regional Programs for the University of Iowa Center for Advancement. As you can see, as I'm setting up my virtual background, the Old Capitol and I have something in common. I don't know how obvious it is, but it's pretty clear that we were both legends at the University of Iowa. So I'm very excited to have you all at our first ever chat from the Old Cap. The chat from the Old Cap is a series of virtual engagement sessions featuring Iowa alumni and friends with interesting careers, backgrounds, stories, etc. to tell. I do ask that you keep your videos off and your microphones muted for the duration of today's session. We do have chat disabled at this time, but towards the end of the session, we'll open it up. So if you would like to ask our guest any questions, that would be the great time to do it. And I would like to introduce Leah Cullis as our first guest today. Leah is going to be helping us with some stress relief. And I don't know if you just heard us talking, but that's certainly something that we could use in our lives in general. But for those of you in Iowa that woke up to snow on the ground, that's probably more relevant now than ever. Leah is a celebrated yoga teacher, holistic health coach, and author of Power Yoga, Strength, Sweat, and Spirit. She synthesizes ancient practices and principles of yoga and wellness and makes them accessible and relevant for life today. Her classes are a beautiful blend of strength, surrender, and celebration. She's been featured on the cover of Yoga Journal magazine and led yoga at the White House from 2009 through 2016 as part of the President's initiative encouraging healthy and active living among children and families. Her greatest honor, of course, is being a mother. Leah lives in beautiful Austin, Texas, where she leads teacher trainings and classes. And Leah, it was so great to see you in Austin when we were down there last month for Iowa Days. It feels like so much has changed in that short month. But before we actually turn over the virtual yoga session to you, would you mind telling us just a little bit more about yourself, how you ended up at Iowa, how you ended up getting into yoga, and how you eventually ended up teaching yoga at the White House?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first, thank you so much for having me, Tony. I really appreciate this opportunity just to connect with fellow Iowans as we are all over the country and the world, and to be able to come together to remember our roots and reground and recenter. So thank you for this opportunity. I am born and raised in Iowa, or I was born and raised in Iowa, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I went to Linn-Mar High School. And I got started in yoga when I was a teenager. My mom took me to a class at the Rockwell Rec Center. Some of you may be familiar with it. And that is where the seeds got planted deep within me about this merger between mindfulness and movement. I had always been an athlete, but when I had that first yoga practice, something sparked within me. I didn't really pick up and start living my yoga practice until much later when I was working in politics, and I started having physical symptoms show up in my body that were stress related at a really, really young age. And looking back on it, I'm so grateful for that, because that is what set me onto this path of not only practicing and living yoga, but being able to share it for what I do in my life's work. So how that led me to teaching yoga at the White House during all 8 years of the Obama administration as part of Michelle Obama's big initiative to get families and children moving, is I got to merge my background in politics with my new path forward of yoga, and got to bring together teachers from all over the country for 8 years in a row, and we shared with 35,000 people every year how to move, breathe, and just be healthier together. Now I live.
That was amazing.
I share with my kids most days now that we're all together all the time.
Exactly. We all have something in common, that's for sure. Well, that's already a beautiful story, and we are all looking very forward to learning about some yoga best practices from you, and then we'll open up for questions afterwards. So without further ado, Leah, I'll turn everything over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Tony. Well, you guys, I just put together a little sequence today that anyone can really do. As I was sharing, I'm spending a lot of time on the floor with my kids. I'm feeling it in my hips. I'm not moving the way that I would normally do in my life, which that's just the theme here. How do we settle into the new normal and start to pull from practices that were grounding to us before, that are grounding not only physically, but also mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually, and things that we can start to weave into these little pockets of opportunity, rather than thinking about workouts the way that we once did. Because to me, the way that I look at yoga, it is so much more than a workout. It's really a work in. So tuning into my body, tuning into my breath, and noticing what I can do, what skillful actions I can take to bring more ease, more purpose, and more joy. How we do that inquiry is by getting into the body. So I'm going to scoot back on my mat. You really don't need anything for a yoga practice overall, but if you have a gripping mat, it's great. If you also have any blocks or water bottles that you want to help support you and lift up through your spine, have those close to you. Okay. And if you have any practice about or questions about any of these poses after, just write it down or plant it deep within you, and we'll have time for questions and answers afterwards. Let's get started in a simple seat. So just cross your ankles like you would with your kids in a circle at elementary school or preschool. Let's take a moment to tune in. Take your hands and ground them to your thighs. This, even just connecting to your body, hands to legs, is really cultivating an earth energy, a grounding energy. Then lift the crown of your head up high. So sit as tall as you can, and then close your eyes. All together, let's take a big breath in, fill up, lift your breath across your heart. Open mouth, exhale. Gently seal your lips and focus on your breath flowing in and out of your nose. Just give yourself a few moments to do nothing, to sit in stillness and tune into your breath. Now bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your low belly. These are two major energy centers that are always providing us with unique, custom information for our own bodies, our own spirits. Heart, low belly. So tune in and listen for anything that you are seeking from your yoga practice today. It could be just a little quiet, or aligning with some inspiration, some light. Ask yourself what brought you to your yoga practice today. And use that information that rises up within you to set your intention for your practice. Then sit up a little taller, lift your heart up into your hand. All together, take a big breath in, fill up, feel both hands rise. Open mouth, exhale. Then tuck your chin towards your chest as a symbol that we're surrendering our minds to our wise body's whole body. And release your hands to your thighs, lift your gaze. Okay, we're going to stay seated. If your body's calling you to switch to cross your ankles, feel free to do so. Then inhale, sweep both arms high. So stretch from your hip creases up through your fingertips. And then shimmy your shoulders a little higher, as if you were pulling out space between your side ribs. On your exhale, catch your left hand to your right knee, right fingers behind you. With your inhale, sit a little taller. Then with your exhale, pull your low belly back. So it's this expansion and contraction with both sides of your breath. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, draw your navel towards your spine. If you want to, you can look to the side wall or even behind you. With your next inhale, look forward, sweep both arms high. Exhale, twist in the other direction. Left fingers behind you, right hand to your left knee. Use the hook of your hand to your knee to leverage your heart higher, and then exhale, twist deeper. Knit your front ribs in with each exhale. Our spine houses 7 major energy centers, so the more you can open up the muscles and the spaces along your spine, the more your vital energy will flow. Again, inhale, both arms high. Exhale, twist to the right. Let's move one breath, one movement. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, twist to the left. 2 more like that. Inhale, you expand, and exhale, twist. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, twist to the left. 1 more round. Notice how much deeper you can get into the shape and into your body as you repeat these simple and familiar shapes. Inhale, reach tall. Now, plant your hands in front of you. Walk your hands as far forward as you can. Drop your head. As you let your head drop, lift your breath into your back ribs. And crawl your hands back to you. Switch to cross your ankles 1 more time. Again, these are poses that you can do when you're sitting on the floor with your family, or you just have a few minutes to get in some movement to boost your vitality. Place your right hand next to your seat. Sweep your left arm long overhead. Lean to the right side. And then pull your low belly back. Lift your heart higher. Right, let's add on movement. On your exhale, bend your left elbow towards your side ribs. Compress the tissues of your arms and your side ribs. Then inhale, reach longer. Lift your breath into your left side ribs. Exhale, bend your elbow, compress. Inhale, lengthen, get longer. 1 more time, exhale, hug in, activate your tissues, and inhale, stretch, lift your breath there. Good. Exhale, hug to your side ribs, sit tall. Let's switch sides. Left hand to the mat, inhale, sweep your right arm long. Study your body and your breath here. So notice, can you rock more into your sits bones and reach your chest higher? Then let's add on the movement. Exhale, hug your right elbow into your ribs. Inhale, extend. Exhale, hug in, compress your lymphatic system here. Inhale, stretch long. Again, exhale, squeeze, activate your muscles. Inhale, reach and open up that new space. Then exhale, pull in, sit tall, lean forward, bow, drop your head. Then walk your hands back towards your legs. Plant your feet on the ground. We're going to add in a little core strengthening here. Scoop your hands underneath your knees. You can either tap your toes on the ground or float your feet up to knee level. Spread your toes wide. We want to invite all parts into the game here. Plug your arm bones back, so stay broad across your chest. Few more breaths here. Option to reach your arms forward, or some of you can kick your heels high. From your seat, lift through your chest, through your toes, and breathe in and out through your nose. Yoga poses help us to face challenge with calm, with grace. Cross your ankles, roll over your feet, and we'll come into a tabletop pose. So stack your hands right underneath your shoulders and your hips over your knees. You can tuck your toes for a little more support. I'm gonna put my hair up in my ponytail. In your tabletop pose, set your gaze down so it's in between your index fingers and your neck is in line with the rest of your spine. Gently pull your palms towards your knees, press your knees towards your palms. You should feel your low belly line up. Let's add on some movement to open up the muscles along the spine. Inhale, tip your tail high, look up, squeeze your shoulder blades together. This is cow pose. Exhale, angry cat, like a Halloween cat. Press the earth away, lift your navel to your center, drop your head. Again, inhale, open up, cow pose, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Exhale, angry cat, tuck your chin, press the earth away. Inhale, open and extend. Exhale, Halloween cat. Now come to a neutral spine. Let's add on some balance here. Extend your left heel back, press your heel away from you. Reach your right arm forward, bicep by your ear. To add on more challenge, more intensity, float your left heel up to hip level. Just as much as you kick your heel away, reach your fingers away, squeeze your shoulder and your hip in towards your center. Adding on movement. Exhale, hug your elbow to your knee. Inhale, extend and reach long. Exhale, pull in, lift your navel, think cat pose. And inhale, expand. Exhale, hug to you, hug into your strength. Inhale, expand. Lower down onto all fours. Let's switch sides. Right heel back, left arm forward. Take a few breaths in your first shake and notice, is your body ready for more challenge, or is it better to stabilize by building a stronger foundation? Then add on the movement. Exhale, pull towards you. Inhale, extend out, but just enough where you still feel your strength, your breath. Exhale, hug in. Inhale, reach. Notice the shifts and the availability, the opportunity with each round of breath, tabletop pose. Rock your hips side to side. And then tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. This pose is a great inversion. Our hips are higher than the head, and you're allowing your blood flow to rinse into your brain, refreshing your energy, refreshing your thinking. So good at this time. Then look forward, walk halfway up your mat, drop down to your knees. We're going to stay seated, but with your toes tucked under. This is fire toes pose. So with your toes tucked under, squeeze your ankles together, squeeze your knees together. You're pulling your energy of your mighty leg muscles into your center line, which will lift more vitality, more prana, what we call it in yoga, life force energy, up to your vital organs. And as you compress your feet, stay seated on your heels, you're opening up the pathways for energy to rise up through your legs to your vital organs, but there are pressure points on the bottoms of your feet that stimulate and support your organs. All right, stay with it, y'all. You almost got it. All right. Bring your hands to your heart. We're going to take 3 more breaths together. On your exhale, release your fingers down to the ground. Inhale, sweep your arms up and around. Exhale, pull your hands towards you, trace your center line. 2 more breaths. Inhale, extend your arms up and around. Nice and steady, nice and slow. Exhale, draw the energy to you. 1 more. Inhale, nice and slow. Exhale, pause at your heart. Take a big breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Bring your hands to the ground. Flap your feet out. Cross your ankles. Roll over your feet. Come to a seat. Okay, if that pose, fire toes pose, was really stimulating for you, that's one of those poses that I highly recommend you weaving into your daily practice to open up all the dense tissues that are at the bottom of your feet. The fascial lines go from your feet all the way up to the top of the head. So open up your feet, give your feet some love while we're at home. Okay, plant your left foot down on the ground, hands behind you. Lift your right foot up, cross your right foot over your left thigh. Now you can move your foot out or towards you, whatever degree feels best for you. And then flex your right toes. As you're seated, lift your chest even higher and use your leg muscles to press your right knee away from you. Lift your chest a little bit more. Nice. Scoot your left leg out in front of you. Release your right foot. Switch sides. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. With every inhale, you want to get as long as you can through your side ribs. So if you're rounding your back, you're not opening up for as much breath as if you're lifting your chest high. And right now, every yoga pose is really an opportunity for us to expand our breath capacity, care for our lungs, and invite in new, fresh oxygen, cleansing oxygen. All right, both feet down, extend both legs forward, then pedal out your knees, just gently. Sway your feet side to side. Okay, bring a generous bend to your knees. Stay anchored through your seat, flex your feet. Inhale, sweep both arms high. Again, stay as long as you can through your side ribs. On your exhale, fold forward. Think ribs to thighs, then catch your feet. Inhale, lift your chest forward again. Exhale, pull yourself into a bow. If your body's calling for it, you can slide your heels forward. Keep working your ribs towards your thighs. Let your head drop. Couple breaths here. Allow your breath to move into your back and your side ribs. We often think that our breath comes from our front body, but we have more breath capacity in our side and back ribs than in our front. Look forward, slowly rise to a seat. Then we end every yoga practice with a pose called Shavasana. It's a final rest. It's a space where we do nothing. So let's just take a few breaths together in Shavasana. Lay down on your mat. Separate your feet as wide as you can. And then turn your palms to face up. Palms up is a symbol that you are open and available to receive. Receive the gifts from your yoga practice. Receive new energy, health, vitality, whatever it is you intended to create in your yoga practice. So let your muscles settle here. Let your breath return to normal. As you allow the benefits from your practice, your mindful movement, to take root within you. If this is feeling good, I invite you to stay here. And if you're ready, just gently bring movement to your fingers and your toes. Maybe even roll out your wrists and your ankles. Then sweep your arms long, slide your feet together, stretch your whole body and take a big breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Bend your knees, pull your thighs in towards your heart. And slowly roll to one side. You can use your bottom arm as a pillow and drape your top arm across your chest. Take a moment to notice how you feel now. Then rise up to your seat. We end the yoga practice with hands at heart center. It's called Anjali Mudra, reminding us to live from the wisdom that's deep within us, within our hearts. Rather than overthinking, the body holds deep, deep wisdom, grounded wisdom that we can access anytime we turn within. All together, let's take a big inhale, fill up, open mouth, exhale. Float your prayer hands up to your third eye to seal the wisdom from your heart, from your wise body into your mind. We end by saying namaste, recognizing the divinity, the divine light within each and every one of us. Namaste. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing your practice today. Let's see, Tony, are you here?
I am. Thank you, Leah. That was absolutely incredible.
Good.
Very relaxing in a time when certainly a lot of us need that kind of relaxing. So thank you very much. I enjoyed that, and I'll probably need ice and ibuprofen later, but that's just, that's hopefully just me. I'm gonna turn the chat on here shortly, but a couple things I thought that you mentioned here were really great and kind of relevant to what we're doing at the University of Iowa Center for Advancement, is being open and able to receive all the new changes that we're having to go through. We certainly focus a lot on our alumni, but we also have great concern for the students. Those are our future alumni, and they're having to cancel sports seasons and not able to be on campus and not able to do their normal commencement. So I think now, your concept of positive energy and life force is just so important for all of us. So I know those are some things that I'll definitely take away from today. And as I kind of turn the chat on, I noticed that you have your book behind you and you wrote a book. Maybe you could talk a little bit about your time at Iowa and how going to the absolute mecca of writing in the universe with the University of Iowa, how that might have influenced you with your book.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. I wrote a book 2 years ago, so it's been out in the world for 2 years now. It's available internationally through the UK, Canada, all over the US, Australia. It's called Power Yoga, Strength, Sweat, and Spirit. And it really details how to start a yoga practice and build a home practice. It's also a great resource with we have over 300 poses within the book and 30 different sequences. And as you said, the mecca of the University of Iowa Writers Workshop. I grew up knowing about the Writers Workshop and knowing how special it is, what a jewel it is, not only within Iowa, but in the world. And I guess I did have that in the back of my mind as for a long time, I set intentions to write a book, and I was writing and writing and writing and trusting my path. And then I was lucky enough to have a publisher approach me to write this book. So yeah, I do feel great honor having come from Iowa. Even though I haven't been a part of the Writers Workshop, it's something I carry around with me.
Cool, very good. Well, I have officially turned on the chat, so I've had a couple people text me here. Actually, we actually have a number of people from the Center for Advancement on this call today. So, so we've got one saying we've got a new mother on the call. Any suggestions for home practice or online classes that can fit into a busy day?
Oh yeah, okay. Well, one, I have a YouTube channel and I have quite a few free practices on there. You can just look up Leah Cullis Yoga. I add things there pretty regularly. I also have some practices on my website for purchase, and I'm going to give 5 of those away today. So if you send me a direct message on Instagram and let me know that you are on this call, I can send a code to the first 5 people, and you'll get 4 practices that are based on the master sequences in my book. So those are great for new moms. Also, being a new mom is something that's near and dear to me. I have a 10-month-old baby and almost a 3-year-old. And I've really been leaning into how I adapt my practice based on the big changes in my life in the last few years. And for any new mothers, I just invite you to listen to your inner wisdom first. So listen to how your body wants to move versus how maybe it's laid out in the practice that's being presented to you, because your body is so wise. You just grew a baby, and your body will know how to move and how to care for you if you listen.
Great, very good. So your website we put on our Facebook post for this, so people can go there and then find you through Instagram and find all of that. So I definitely encourage people to go to UI Center for Advancement through Facebook. I got a text here. Your time at the White House, how well did you get to know the Obama family, and do you have a favorite memory from there?
Well, I didn't get to know the Obama family all that well. I did do some work on the president's announcement tour when he was first running in 2007. That was that time where I was transitioning between politics and teaching yoga full time. So one of my favorite memories is, let's see, well, the first time I met the president, actually, you want a funny story here? So I met him at the Coralville, is it the Marriott that's by the river?
Yeah.
Okay, the newer
River Landing, yeah.
Yeah, and I was shaking his hand, and he was a senator at the time. I can't believe I'm telling this right now, but I'm going to. It's for Iowans only. You know how it is. You meet all the candidates, and I come back. Anyways, he said, sorry about my voice. I've been all over the state. And I was shaking his hand, and I was just really taken by his speech and his charisma. And I said, it's sexy. And said that to the president. It just came out. So that was one of probably my most embarrassing moment, which I just told all of you guys. But it was definitely something that stood out for me. Another moment that stood out was I did my final political trip I did was in Russia with the president, and just seeing how this man that made such an impact in our state, seeing him on the world stage, having a front row seat for that, I just have so much respect, and I'm in awe of him. The favorite moment on the White House was probably when Bob Marley's son, Ziggy Marley, was performing and the president was dancing backstage.
Wow.
I got a lot of stories, Tony.
That would be incredible. Well, maybe we'll just do an episode on your stories. Probably just from that concert. Maybe we could just do one episode on that concert. We have another chat here. How can I improvise the pose where you sit on your knees? I have bad knees.
Oh, with your toes tucked under. Okay. Well, that's a tough one. If you have a yoga block, I've got 3 here with me, you can always sit on a yoga block, and that will start to open up the tissues of your knees, or sit on a few different pillows, but start compressing the tissues around your knees. The fascia, that connective tissue, is kind of like shrink wrap around our joints. So if you haven't had any compression on your knees for quite a while, it's going to feel really dense. So start leaning into that. And in the pose, you want to be in the fullness of your breath while still feeling the gentle compression. For tucking your toes under, it's hard if your knees are screaming at you to be in fire toes pose like that. So what I would do instead is I would either give yourself a foot massage with your hands, manually palpate your feet, or do what I do every day. I take a lacrosse ball is best, but any ball with some pressure, and roll out the bottoms of your feet through the arches, all through the heel, and start to stimulate that connective tissue. That's going to impact the flexibility through the rest of your body.
Great, very cool. Got a few more text messages here. When or how often do you get back to campus, and are you coming back soon, and can we hang out with you when you do?
I would love that. I usually come back in November, and I was going to try to come back in the summer, but we'll see how things unfold. Until then, let's stay in touch online.
Okay. Someone asked if you had a favorite memory while you were at Iowa?
Favorite memory while I was at Iowa? Well, I got my BFA in graphic design, and that was when we were transitioning a lot into computer-based media. And I did a showing in the pit of the University of Iowa Art Gallery, which I think has been redone since then. But my movie or my video was shown in between a Rothko and the Jackson Pollock. So on the wall, it was really cool.
Yeah, the Pollock is in New York right now, I think, but we're building a new museum, Stanley Museum of Art, next to the library, and so we hope to get it back within the next couple of years. So that'll be very cool. I think we'll probably do just one more question here. We did have a chat. Are there any sequences in your book that address poses to alleviate muscle tightness from sitting, working at a computer?
Yeah, there definitely are. I have all sorts of lower body sequences, a whole chapter on lower body sequences. And I would also look for, there's a specific sequence for cycling, which I know isn't the same as sitting, but there's a lot of compression with your hip flexors. So anything that you can do to counteract that. One of my favorite poses, especially for sitting, is legs up the wall pose. So that is in my book. It's just where you slide against the wall, put your feet up the wall, lay on your back. What that's going to do is it's going to reset your thigh bones into your hip sockets and expand your low back. That'll open up your front body even more from all of that sitting and leaning forward.
Very cool. Maybe one more question?
Yeah.
You have time? Okay. How did you decide, and I know you addressed this a little bit, but how did you decide to make the leap to making yoga your full-time job?
Well, it was more of my dharma, what we call our divine life purpose in yoga, started to present itself to me. I was working in the fast-paced world of politics at the time, coming from the Iowa caucuses, and then I moved to DC, and then at the time where I had I'll call it a breakdown, was when I was working in politics in California. Just a few years of fast-paced, high-stress living, I had literally wound myself into knots. And I actually went to the emergency room because half my body started going numb over the course of a few years. And so my wake up was that numbness. I had to start living in a new way. And so that's when I found my yoga practice. I started practicing 5 or 6 times a week. So it was when I really started living my yoga practice. The seeds were planted earlier, but it wasn't until my mid-20s that I started to take it seriously and live my yoga. Very quickly, I learned that there was something more for me to be sharing in this way. My intention of working in politics was actually to bring people together, right? And to create more peace and calm and connection in the world. And I was able to do that more effectively while teaching yoga. So it all just presented itself to me. I had to wake up first and start living in a new way. And then my path for teaching unfolded from there. And I can get more specific if someone has more wants to go deeper about that. But now I actually teach yoga teachers as one of my main ways of serving and contributing to this world.
Wow, that's amazing. So yoga saved your life.
Right, literally, yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's really cool. Great to hear. And I just put your website up on the chat. But again, people can find us on University UI Center for Advancement is our Facebook page, and go to your event, and then you've got several links to your book and to your website. So thank you again for offering sort of a discount or a prize, if you will, if people want to reach out to you through Instagram. But this has been absolutely wonderful, Leah. We can't thank you enough. Iowa Nice, it's a real thing. You definitely have it, and you've been so great to do this with us today. We really appreciate it. So if there's nothing else, I'll do one last plug. We do have another episode coming up next week, and speaking of the Writers Workshop, it's going to be with Claire Lombardo. And Claire is a recent graduate of the Iowa Writers Workshop. She wrote a book called The Most Fun We Ever Had. It's a New York Times bestseller, and it's being optioned by HBO. So we'll be launching some more information for that. And Leah, we hope you can join us for that. So once again, thank you very much for coming. Thank you all for joining us, as always, on Iowa, and Go Hawkeyes.